everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about my TBR for this summer because I think I still have like 12 or 13 weeks left of summer, so that's a lot of time to read a lot of books. And so I've got my stack over here. It's a lot. And I titled this video my Unrealistic Summer TBR because there is a very small chance I'm going to get through all of these this summer. But you know what? We're going to try. And the ones I don't get through, I'll just get to in the fall. So let's get started. The first thing I wanted to do in this video is start off talking about how my stimulating my mind process is going so far. And I do think it's going pretty well. I've been playing a lot of Lego Star Wars on my Switch because I got it on sale for $12, which was a steal. And so I've just been playing through that a lot. And although it is like screens, it's like puzzles and challenges, and I do feel like my brain is working. And like when I'm done playing, I do feel kind of tired because I've been like trying to find hidden things and play through all the levels, whatever. So I do think I'm stimulating my brain in that way through playing games. But I try not to do it for too much time every day because I do kind of feel a little brain rotted if I play for too long. And then I've been taking a lot of long walks, which I really enjoy. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. My favorite podcast right now is Good Hang with Amy Poehler. I think I've listened to almost every episode over the past week or so, and it's just so good and so happy. I really enjoy it. And then recently I just finished reading Lincoln in the Bardo, which I have been reading since I got it for Christmas. So I've been reading it since January. And it took me so long because it's such a complicated book. And also, this was my busiest semester of college yet, this past semester, so I didn't have a ton of time to read. But this book is amazing. I recommend it to every single person. It's the most unique writing style I've ever seen. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but it's like citations from some real and some fictional sources. And when characters are talking, it's not real dialogue. It's like them saying something and then it'll show who's saying it. So it's a really interesting form of storytelling, and it's a really beautiful story about what happens after we die. So read Lincoln in the Bardo if you haven't. And then today I started reading Beach Read by Emily Henry. I have only ever read Book Lovers. I read that last summer and I really loved it. I think she does such a good job of creating female characters who aren't just there to fall in love. That's the kind of romance novel I want to read, is where the female character has motivation, has an idea of what she wants her life to look like, and that doesn't revolve around a man. So I'm enjoying this so far. You can tell that she's a millennial when you read certain parts of this book, but you know what? She's funny. She creates a really good tension between people, so we will ignore the super millennial parts of her and keep reading this. So that's what I'm reading right now and what I just finished reading. And I will drop my Goodreads profile in the description if you want to follow me on there. I don't usually type out reviews, but you can see what number of stars I gave something. Something else I did recently that kind of aligns with my staying off screens was I went with two of my friends, Danny and Noah. If you go all the way back to my Fablemans video, they're in it. I went with them to see the new Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson movie Friendship, and that was really interesting. It's a little bit everywhere, but I liked it. It was really funny. I'd never seen Tim Robinson in anything before, and I think I love him. I like that he just screams out loud, and I think that's really funny. But yeah, it was a great movie. It was great to hang out with my friends. I saw something recently that was like, people say stop making sequels, stop doing remakes, but people don't go and see original content as often. in movie theaters as we do the remakes and sequels, so it was fun to see something completely original, something that had never been done before, and I really enjoyed it. So now I'm actually gonna go through this big stack, and I'm not gonna drop it this time. I'm just gonna set it down in front of me. So first, if you remember from my most recent video, I said I was gonna try and read a whole book series this summer, and it finally got here. Finally, it took like 4 days to get here. And the best part about this is it's all 3 books in one. So this is the entire Deptford trilogy, Fifth Business, The Manticore, and World of Wonders. And it's shorter than I thought it was gonna be, which is very helpful. I do think I can get through it in a summer. And the description on the back doesn't offer a lot of insight into what the book is actually about, but it's kind of a mystery saga about a town. The town is in Canada, and I know that it's like a saga through time about what happens when a veteran returns from war. And also on the back it says who kills Boy Staunton, so there's probably some sort of mystery element in here. So I'm really interested in what this is going to be about. My family goes on a vacation to Michigan every summer for a week, and the house we stay in has no air conditioning and no Wi-Fi, so I get a lot of reading done on that trip. I might do a reading vlog of like how much I read on that trip, because I think last year I read 3 whole books in a single week, which compared to other booktube creators is nothing, but for me, that's a lot. So we'll see how much of that I can get through. I probably won't start it till around that time because I want to see how much of it I can work through on that trip. So first on the TBR list, but these are in no particular order of when I'm going to start reading them. Next we've got Player Piano by Kurt Vonnegut. I started this last year. As you can see, I'm like 10 pages in. Let's see. 16 pages in. Look at me. But I read this during the time that I wasn't really reading anything, so I think I just need to set aside some time and get back into it, because I've always wanted to read his books. I'm from Indiana. He's from Indiana. I believe he's still alive. Nope. No, he's been dead since 2007, according to the back of this. Oh well, I should do my research before these videos. But I want to read a book by an Indiana author, so this will be a good one. And I've heard this is one of the best books of his to start with. I also just got Slaughterhouse-Five, but since I've already started this one, I'm going to wait and finish this before I start another Kurt Vonnegut book. Next, I have Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro, which I remember my mom reading on one of our Michigan trips several years ago, like around when it came out, I think. And I don't know very much about this book. I know there's a crazy plot twist at the end, and I kind of want to stay not knowing anything, so I'm just going to show you what I got, and I'm not going to even read the back because I want it to stay a secret. Next, I have Heart of Darkness, which I'm kind of scared to read because I know it can be really disturbing at certain points. So, if it leaves big enough of an imprint on me, maybe I'll make a video about it. But this is the 2nd edition. It's way longer than the 1st edition. I got this on sale at my local library, and it's like full of annotations by the person who owned it before me. I'm sure they had it for a class. But I think it's really cool that I'll get to see everything they were writing as they were reading it. I believe this book was adapted into Apocalypse Now, which I did watch last year for one of my film classes, so it will be interesting to see what they took from that and put into this, because it's the same concept, but it's set in 2 different countries, so we'll see. We'll see what it's like. Next is this book called The Grammarians, which I'd never heard of. I also got this at the library book sale, and it looks kind of creepy on the cover, but it's not a creepy book. It's literally about 2 sisters who view grammar in very different ways. I'm a huge grammar nerd, so I'm really excited to read this. So it's about 2 identical twins who share an obsession with words. and one of the sister becomes a copy editor, and it says a grammar columnist at a newspaper, and it says she's devoted to preserving the dignity and elegance of standard English, while the other sister was a kindergarten teacher and now is a poet and thinks that the English language is much more fluid and malleable than the other sister. So I think that's really interesting. As someone who believes grammar is really important and who thinks we should stick with a lot of preset grammar structures, but also I'm really passionate about learning different languages and like the shifts between grammar in different languages, I think this will be a really interesting read for me. And I also might make a video about this book when I'm done with it. So the next book on my list is another one I got for Christmas, Erasure, which is by Percival Everett. This was made into the movie American Fiction, which I believe won Best Adapted Screenplay at the 2024 Oscars. And I don't know if I said this in my last video, but I study literary adaptation to film, or film adaptations of literature is the new title of my major. And so I really want to read this book and watch the movie and then compare like how much was kept in. And this just seems like a really interesting concept for a book. It's about a Black author who like makes a huge departure from his usual kind of writing and writes a book that he thinks won't be taken seriously at all, and then it becomes a huge hit. So it's how he deals with the fact that he lied and wrote this under a fake name. So I'm really interested to see how this turns out. It's kind of like a satire, and I love satire, so we'll see. But I think I will like this a lot. People love this book. The last book on my list is We Were the Mulvaneys by Joyce Carol Oates. And I had heard of her before, but I didn't really know who she was. So when I saw this book, this is also from the library book sale. I got like 15 books that day. When I saw this there, I was really excited because I didn't know that much about her. I knew she was a very famous writer, but I didn't know what kind of books she wrote. For a long time, I thought she was a poet, but I don't think that's true. But this was in Oprah's book club when it came out, and my mom used to work for Oprah and read this when it was part of Oprah's book club, and she says this is an amazing book. And it is a family saga, which is my mom's favorite kind of book, so it's no wonder that she liked it, but it sounds really interesting. It's about a family of 6, so mom, dad, and 4 kids, and they experience a huge incident that it says is hushed up in their town and never spoken of in their home again. And it breaks up their like perfect family life. So the son is trying to document what happened and bring his family back together. So that sounds really interesting. And I do love when a book, like in the description, has like, there was a tragedy and they don't say what it was, because that makes me really interested to read the book. But this book is huge. Like you can see, it's quite tall, and then it's quite thick as well. Let's see, it's 454 pages. So I think this one will take me a while. Might take more than the summer, depending on when I start it, but it sounds so interesting. So I do want to get through it. And then the very last book, you'll remember from my last video, if you watched it, which you should have, is My Father's Dragon in Russian. I haven't gotten a chance to continue reading it yet. I know I've had plenty of chances, but I've been distracted doing other things. I took a trip to Chicago last weekend. I'm going back to Chicago in 2 weeks. Like, there's been a lot going on. So I haven't gotten a chance to really sit down with this and start breaking down all the words I don't know. But one of my coworkers is reading Call Me By Your Name right now in Italian, and she kind of inspired me. So I might bring this to work with me this coming week and try to get through more of it, but it's just been kind of sitting on my desk. So I think it's time I get back to it. Plus, my tutor went back home for the summer, so I haven't had a lot of practice with Russian because nobody who's here in town with me right now speaks it besides me. So I do think I need to brush up on my skills a little so I don't fall behind this summer. So yeah, I will get to that. That is my TBR for this summer. I don't think it's super realistic because of the online class I'm taking and work and travel and all that, but if I get through all of these, it'll be a miracle. But I will do a video at the end of the summer where I document all the books I read this summer, maybe the movies I watched, shows I watched, it depends. I'm really into books right now more than movies, so we'll see. But thank you for sticking around, thank you for watching. Please subscribe, leave a comment down below what you might want to see in the future. I've been thinking about doing a video where I teach like maybe the Russian alphabet or a couple of basic Russian phrases because that'll help me learn better. And when else are you going to get an opportunity to learn a different alphabet? So let me know what you want to see in the comments, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye!